Good morning, students. So in yesterday's class, we have seen how the stress is going to be find out in a beam, so which is having the initial curvature effect. So by the application of the moment, so that moment helps to straighten the beam, so that induces the bending stress in the inner fiber and outer fiber, which are at maximum state. So that is finding out by means of sigma b equal to m into y by a into r. So with respect to the fiber, that is at inner and outer fibers, that is I can denote with suffix I and o. So inner denoted with I and outer fiber denoted with o, and I can take so similarly the moment will be the same at inner and outer fibers, and here yi and so y naught we need to substitute, and here that can be substituted ri and r naught. So and the remaining all the terms will be the same. The moment acting will be the same, and area of cross section is the same, and small e, that is the offset distance between the centroidal axis and neutral axis, is also same. So only the two things that varies, so that based upon the inner and outer fiber, that is only the distance from neutral axis to the inner and outer fibers yi and y naught, and the radius of curvatures to the inner and outer fibers r and r naught, so that we may get the bending stress, their corresponding stresses sigma ba and sigma b naught. That is what we are seen in the earlier case, that is a Winkler-Back theory. So here based upon the layer we can, that is based upon the moment we are applying, so we can get the bending stress at inner fiber maybe tensile and outer stress maybe a compression. That is earlier case, that is our case. So the moment is acting upwards, so that the beam is tending to straighten, so that so here the layers, the outer fiber layers is subjecting to the compression, and the inner layers are subjecting to the tension. So that is what we are taken the direction of movement in our case. So let us see the so how to solve the problem, or steps involved or steps followed. Curved beams. So initially, so in the step 1, so whatever the problem they can given, so we need to draw the cross section separately. So we need to draw the cross section of a beam separately. So with respect to the center of curvature. So that is the very first step that we need to do in the problems. So whatever the problem they can specified or given, so either it is in frame of an hydraulic press, or if it is in some other machine frame or crane hook, so whatever the problem it may be, so we need to draw a separate cross section, and it is in a critical cross section, so where we may get the maximum bending moment, so that it will be we may obtain the maximum stresses. So we need to draw a critical cross section of the curved beam, so individually with respect of center of curvature, and in the very next step we need to indicate all the dimensions of cross section. So again with respect to the center of curvature. So initially you can draw a cross section separately and indicate all the dimensions, which means radius of curvature to the inner fiber and radius of curvature to the outer fiber, that is Ri and R naught, or whatever the data that is given, and their width and depth. So whatever the dimensions it is given, so that you can mention in the diagram, or what were drawn separately. In that diagram we can indicate all the dimensions that given in the problem. And the step number 3, you can need to determine or calculate so the radius of curvature to the centroidal axis, so that is r. So similarly, so we can also need to find out the radius of curvature to the neutral axis, that is denoted by Rn. So that is R and Rn. We need to find out both the values of R and Rn using the relation that we can take it from design data book. So the relations for different cross sections, either the cross section is rectangular, or it may be a circular one, or it may be a trapezoidal one, or it may be an I section or T section. So for each and different section, cross section of beam, so the value of radius of curvature R as well as the value of radius of curvature to the neutral axis is going to vary, and these relations, that is the equations for these R and Rn for different cross section, that are available in design data book. So that formulas we can take it from design data book. So using that relations we can find out the values of R and Rn, and we can also locate the same in the cross section we are drawn in the step number 1. Clear? So that is so that we can find out all the radiuses or radius of curvature, that is Ri, R0, R and Rn. So all the values of radius of curvatures are known, so that we can denote in the diagram. So after finding out so the values of R and Rn, we can calculate so the distance, so that is offset distance between so radius of curvature to the centroidal axis or neutral axis, that is a small e. So we know that we can find out by means of R minus Rn. So why? Because the neutral axis always tends to towards the center of curvature. So this is the center of curvature, which is exactly located at the center. So but the neutral axis always slides towards or dislocated towards the centroidal, that is the center of curvature O. So that so Rn is always less than the radius of curvature R. So that these offset distance small e, so that you can find out by means of R minus Rn. So in this step you can also find out the values of Ya and Y0. So that we can calculate from the diagram. So Ya means that is a distance from neutral axis to the inner fiber, that is Ya, and distance from neutral axis to the outer fiber Y0. So we can find out the values of Ya and Y0. So we can get Ya, so that inner fiber, which means Rn minus so these distance, so that is from here to Rn, and it is Ri. So that is from outer radius to the inner fiber, that is we can denote with Ri. So we can find out Rn minus Ri, that gives the Ya, and similarly Y0 can be given by R0 minus R. From the diagram itself we can find out the values of Ya and Y0. So clear. So in this step step 4, we can find out the offset distance between centroidal axis and neutral axis, and then we can also find the distances from neutral axis to the inner fiber Ya and neutral axis to the outer fiber Y0. So after finding out all the values, we can also find the cross sectional area. So why we need to find out all the values? If you want to find out the stresses, so we need to have the cross sectional area capital A as well as offset distance. So offset distance small e is calculated. So and we need Ya and Y0 we are finding out. So and Ri and R0 that is given in data. So we can find out that, and only the thing remaining that is left is cross sectional area. So based upon the section they can given, so you can find out the cross section area. It is a rectangular and it is a circular pi by 4 d square and trapezoidal half into bi b naught by h. So and into h, sorry, and I section these will be taken so divided into the rectangles, and these are two rectangles. So we can find out the area. So after finding out all the values in step number 3, we need to find out the bending moment acting at the critical cross section, that is M is given by W into L. So where W is the load acting on the frame or the beam. So either it is a crane hook or it is a frame. So C section, C type frame. So the W is a load acting on it. So but L is a perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance. So from where it is? So it is a distance from load acting to the centroidal axis. This is the very important point we need to remember. So while calculating the bending moment, so double load into perpendicular distance that we already known. So but L is the distance that we need to take it from the load application, that is a point of application of load, to the central axis of the cross section what we are drawn in the cross section. So that is the distance we are considered as an perpendicular distance, and it is taken as L, that we can use it for finding out the bending moment acting on the beam. So after finding out the bending moment, and in the step number 6, so we need to find the stresses, that is a bending stress, at inner and outer fibers. As I stated in earlier class, the maximum stresses we can obtain at inner and outer fiber, that is based upon the, so here as well as here. Why? Because it is having the greater distance from the neutral axis, so that we can get the maximum stresses at inner and outer fibers, that is sigma bi you can denote with the inner stress, bending stress at inner fiber, and outer stress at the outer fibers. So based upon the moment acting, the direction of the moment acting, that is the nature of stress may be varies. So in this case, we may have the inner fibers, we can have the tensile stress, and at outer fibers we can have the compression stress. So here y and y naught is known, and r and r is known, and m is known, and small e is known, so that you can find the bending stress at inner and outer fibers. That is at step number 6. So after that, so we can also find in some of the cases, if the section is subjected to the axial type of stress, so we can go with the finding out the direct stress in the step number 6. So that is denoted with sigma d. So we can get the, so W by A, load by area. So A is already finding out in the step number 4. So and load is that is given in the data. So we can calculate the direct stress, and finally you can find so the resultant stress. So that is given by sigma Ra, and sigma R naught is given by sigma d plus or minus sigma b. So that is a sequence of steps to be followed in the design of curved beams, or to solve the problems in the beams. So that is, initially you can draw a separate cross section with respect to the center of curvature, and in the second step indicate all the dimensions that is given or specified in the data, so including the radius of curvatures and their width and depth. And in the step number 3, you can find out or calculate the radius of curvatures to the central axis and neutral axis by taking the equations from the design data books. So for different cross section of beams, we can find out the different equations for finding out the radius of curvature to the central axis and neutral axis, and find out the distance, offset distance between the central axis and neutral axis, that is small e, and yi and y naught we can find using these relations from the figure. We can finding out that, and I can also find out or calculate the cross sectional area capital A, and the moment, bending moment acting on the beam, so W into L. So length, that is the point we need to remember. So L is the perpendicular distance, we can take it from the point of application of load to the central axis, and finally you can find out the stress, bending stress, using this relation by substituting the corresponding distances and radius of curvatures in the equation. We can get their corresponding stress values at inner and outer fibers, and then we can also find out the direct stress, or axial stress. So that is the direct stress, load by area, and finally we can find out the resultant stress. So that is algebraic sum of both the direct stress and the bending stress. Clear? So let us see some example problems. So how to solve the curved beams problem taking a simple C frame or C type frame by the application of load as similar to the bending moment acting upwards. Clear? The example problem here. So determine the maximum tensile and compressive stresses induced in C frame. So it is a frame used for hydraulic portable riveting machine. So if you observe the cross section, it is a rectangular cross section, it is indicated there. So in the step 1, that is in the procedure, in the step 1 we need to draw the cross section clearly, so with respect of center of curvature line. So here it is observed the center of curvature line, so it is in this so it is in this fashion. So the cross section is given here, so that is in this fashion. So it is a cross section that indicated clearly, but we need to take the critical cross section at here, so that is at XX. So the center of curvature, we need to draw the cross section with respect of center of curvature O. So the center of curvature in this fashion, so we need to draw in the 2D fashion, so we can project the center of curvature line clearly, so that we may get in this fashion. Clear? So that is so it may be coincides, that is in this axis the center of curvature will be present, that is along the width. So that is we need to draw the width parallel to the center of curvature line. So clear? So here so the cross section is indicated 50 mm the width and the depth is 80 mm. So the depth should be perpendicular to the center of curvature line. So clearly, so I can draw a larger section here. So this line indicates the center of curvature line. So on the cross section, as I stated, so this is the depth that is clearly showing that. But so if you rotate the cross section in this fashion up to this extent, so we may get the depth which is perpendicular to this cross section, that is center of curvature line, so that I can draw this depth perpendicular to the, so that is 80 mm. So it is a rectangular cross section and the width is parallel to the center of curvature line. So this is like the very first step in the, so I can denote with O, so center of curvature line, not X. Clear? So and the depth is, so that is given 50 mm. So width and depth. So along with that, that can also given the distance from center of curvature to the inside of the cross section, that is 100 mm. So what is that means the distance from the center of curvature to this line. So this is distance. So we know that so about this center the beam is tending to bend, which means this represents so the inner radius. So I can denote here with Ri. So that is 100 mm. And we can also see so that load is acting at the end of the frame. So with respect of center of curvature, the distance is given 175 mm. Clear? So that you can remember. So 175 mm from the center of curvature line to the load acting. So this is 175 mm. So here we may get the load. So that is in this direction. So I can suppose to simply knowing that I can represent it with W. Clear? Clear? So this is the given data in the problem. So width and depth is given. So and then inner radius of curvature is given. So and then the distance from load acting to the center of curvature O 175 mm is given. So let us solve these. So okay. So after indicating all the dimensions, so width and depth and inner radius of curvature and distance from center of curvature to the load acting. So here the load acting is also given 9000 newtons. W. So I can take and denote it with W, 9000 newtons. So the very first step in the procedure, so we can denote with the remaining proportions. So here the inner radius of curvature is already given. So we can also need to denote the outer radius of curvature, that is R0 here. So how can we get the R0? So that is Ri plus the total depth of the cross section that gives the outer radius of curvature, that is Ri plus H. So total depth I can denote with H, the depth, and B equal to width. So 50 mm. Clear? So here Ri is 100 mm. So and H is 80. So total R0 that equal to 180 mm. Clear? So we need to locate. So the step one. So locate centroidal axis and neutral axis. So if you want to locate the centroidal axis and neutral axis, so we need to find out the value of R and Rm, the radius of curvature to the neutral axis. So the radius of curve that I can taken from design data book, the radius of curvature to the centroidal axis. So see here, that is given by Ri plus h by 2, so half the depth. So Ri is known, so 100 mm. So these both can be taken from the values of equations for R and Rn. So for the rectangular cross section I am going to take, so that is for R equal to Ri plus h by 2, so half the depth, so that is 40, so 100, so Ri is 100, so maybe 140 mm. So again, after finding out the calculating the radius of curvature R, so immediately we need to locate the centroidal axis in the cross section diagram. So this is the centroidal axis, and we can also locate, indicate the values of R here. So R equal to 140 mm centroidal axis, and then so radius of curvature to the neutral axis, and it is given by h by ln R naught by Ri. So h is known, so that is the total depth 80 mm. So and R naught is known 180 mm, and Ri is known 100 mm. So you can find, substitute all the values, it may be get 136.01 mm. So immediately, so as I stated, for checking whether your calculated value is correct or not, you can check with the values of R and Rn. So Rn is always less than the R. So as I stated that, so the neutral axis is always tending towards the slight dislocated towards the centroidal, that is center of curvature, so that it should be in between centroidal axis and the center of curvature line. So you can check, it is a 140 mm and it is 136, so it is right. So immediately you can locate the neutral axis in the diagram. So it is a neutral axis denoted by Na, and we can also indicate the values of Rn here. So Rn equal to 136.01 mm. Clear? So after finding out the values of central axis to the central axis and neutral axis to with respect of center of curvature line, we can find the values of offset distance small e here. So that is the distance difference between the R and Rn, that is a small e is equal to, so the greater value is always R, so that you can remember R minus Rn. Clear? So the value of R minus Rn 3.89, and we can substitute the values of R 140 and Rn 136. And the value here clearly indicate here, so that is 3.89 mm. You can indicate the smaller values, you can indicate in the diagram clearly. So Ri is indicated. So the four radius of curvatures are need to be indicated in the diagram. So Ri, R naught, and R and Rn, four values are indicated, and a small e is also indicated, and the remaining two values can also need to be denote in the diagram. So that is the distance. So the distance from neutral axis to the inner fibers, that is yi, and distance of outer fibers to the neutral axis, or neutral axis to the outer fibers, that is y naught. So from the figure you can find out yi value of yi. So that can be given by Rn minus Ri, that use the yi, and similarly y naught can be find out by R naught minus Rn. So simply can find out from the figure it is. So it is a neutral axis. Clear? So we need to find the distance from here to here. So we know that the total value from central axis to the neutral axis, that is Rn, and we know the distance of center of curvature to the inner fibers. So that I can subtract the value of Rn from the Ri, so we may get the yi, and similarly for the y naught. So Rn value is 136.01 and Ri is 100. So you maybe get, so 36.01 mm, and R naught is 43.89 mm. Clear? So you can get the yi and y naught, and you can also find the cross sectional area, so that is denoted by capital A. So and width into it is a rectangular cross section, so that is 4000 Newton per mm square. And the next step in the problem, that is we can find out the moment or bending moment. So W into L, so and the load is known, so 9000, so that is given in data, and here that is the length. So we need to remember the very important point here. So L can be taken as a perpendicular distance between so application of load. So the 170, the given data, in the given data 175 mm, it is not taken as L. So why? Because it is only the distance given from the point of application of load to the center of curvature. But here the value of L, so that is taken as a distance from point of application of load to the centroidal axis. So here this is the distance of L is taken as L. Clear? So that is given by, so L is given L equal to, so here already 175 is given in the data, so 175 plus, so up to this distance. So what is this distance from the centroidal axis to the center of curvature, centroidal axis to the center of curvature? That is here we know that R. So L can be taken as 175 mm plus the radius of curvature R. Clear? So that I can substitute the value here, 175 plus R. So R is also known, so that is 140 mm. So by substituting the values of L here, so the bending moment may get so 2830 into 10 cube Newton mm, and find out the bending stress at inner fibers. So that is sigma Bi, that equal to M into Yi by A into Ri. So moment is calculated and Yi is known, that is 36, and capital A cross sectional area is find out. So small e is also known and Ri is given in data. You can substitute all the values here. So the value of bending stress, so I may get 65.67 Newton per mm square. You can also check with the values. So and sigma B naught minus and Y naught into A into R naught. So you can substitute all the values, 44.36 Newton per mm square. So you can check with the values of stresses. So bending stress at inner fiber and it is at outer fibers. That is the maximum stresses, that is the bending stresses at inner and outer fiber, that is here and as well as here. But in the problem, so the stress, the direct stress can also be acting in this case. So we can also find out the direct stress, that is denoted by sigma D. So it can be simply find out by means of load by area, so W by A. So load is known 9000 and the cross sectional area 4000. So the value, so you may get 2.25 Newton per mm square. But the resultant stress, so if it is no direct stress is there, so up to this extent it is enough to find out. But in this case the direct stress can also be acting in the about the cross section. So we need to find out the resultant stress in the at inner and outer fiber, resultant stresses at inner and outer fibers. So that is find out by sigma Ri equal to sigma D plus sigma Bi. Similarly, sigma R naught equal to sigma D minus sigma B naught. So sigma D is known and the sigma Bi and the sigma B naught is known. You can substitute both the values. So we can get 67.92 Newton per mm square, and the resultant stress at outer fiber is 42.11 Newton per mm square. So this is how the stresses, the maximum stresses, so that induced in the inner and outer fibers, which is the resultant stresses. So that is the algebraic sum of bending stress and direct stress. So whatever the cross section it is, so you can need to be drawn the separate cross section clearly with respect of center of curvature line and indicate all the radiuses, that is Ri, that is radius of curvature to the inner fibers, and R naught, radius of curvature to the outer fiber, and radius of curvature to the centroidal axis. So, and radius of curvature to the neutral axis Rn, and find out the remaining values of offset distance and the distance from centroidal axis or neutral axis to the inner and outer fibers Ya and Y0, and find out the bending moment and the bending stress at inner and outer fibers, and direct stress, and finally resultant stress. So whatever the section and whatever the application it is, so you can need to be follow in these procedure, so you can give the resultant stresses for each and every section. Clear? So in the next class we can go with the another cross section with another application like crane hooks. So let us see in the next class. Thank you.